Warren, we'd like to go ahead and call this meeting to order. Ms. Charlotte, would you mind leading us in the pledge of allegiance?
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm a big girl. This right here ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work. Thank you, Mr. Lord.
Do I have a motion to accept today's agenda?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. Next, we have new business, and I would like to entertain a motion to combine Resolution 2024-4, 2024-1, and 2024-2, since they're all related.
Are there items on the agenda? Are these items on the agenda tonight?
Yes, they are.
So there's 2024-4, and when you said 3, there are 3, or they're all bundled?
Yeah, I would like to entertain a motion to
Okay.
combine them all. You're okay
Okay,
with that?
I got you, okay.
I make a motion to accept it.
Okay, it's been properly moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
It's been properly moved and second to combine all three of these resolutions. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. And Mr. Trustee Barton.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, are we going to do the Claremont contract first, just to get that taken care of? Okay.
We'll hold it for the end.
We'll hold it for the end, okay. Then, I believe we left off with public comment on the EMS merger. So if we could just take a few more minutes and open it back up for public comment, that'd be great.
Sure. And before we go into public comment, I just would like to remind everyone that we're here from each person that have emailed or signed up before this meeting. Each speaker must be from Wayne Township, be a Wayne Township resident, and give their name and address prior to speaking. This comment period is related to the following resolutions, which deal with emergency medical services in Wayne Township. Please keep your remarks on topic. Also, this is comment period. We will not take questions at this time. You need to send those to the township office. At a future meeting, there will be public hearing to discuss fire consolidation. Each person will have 3 minutes to speak, and there will be a timekeeper who will call time. If deemed necessary, myself may allow additional 15 seconds to wrap up. I'll also allow public comment for the next 30 minutes if necessary. If we have not completed testimony by that time, public comment period will end. Please keep your comments within the limits of the appropriate public discussion. Anyone using abusive language or talking about any other individual will be ruled out of order and will forfeit your remaining time. First, we have our City County Councilor, Jessica McCormick. Right up front.
Thank you, Mr. President, and good evening, members of the board and our community. My name is Jessica McCormick. I serve as the Indianapolis City County Councilor for District 16, which is entirely within Wayne Township. I would like to thank you for taking the time to hear my public comment in support of the merger of EMS Division of Wayne Fire Township with Indianapolis Emergency Medical Services. I believe this merger will bring about numerous benefits and enhance the overall efficiency and effectiveness of both medic and fire services. The merger aligns with the strategic goals of both entities, promoting a unified and coordinated approach to emergency services. By combining resources, expertise, and infrastructure under IEMS umbrella, we will be better equipped to handle the evolving challenges of our community growing. I know there are concerns with this merger as it relates to services and response times. I can assure residents and the community that this will not impact the quality of services they receive on a daily basis, nor will it impact the response times negatively. I am confident that the merger will not only maintain but elevate the quality of fire and EMS protection services in our community. The shared commitment to excellence exhibited by Wayne Township, Indianapolis Emergency Medical Services, and the Indianapolis Fire Department makes this partnership a logical and strategic move forward, achieving a safer environment for our residents. I believe the combined strengths of these departments will result in a more robust, efficient, and responsive emergency services department for our community. The professionals that you've heard from over the last few meetings and will continue tonight are the subject matter experts in this field. We trust them daily to provide our services. We should also trust them that they will provide accurate and correct information as this conversation continues. Thank you for the attention to this matter, and I look forward to witnessing the positive impact that this merger will undoubtedly bring to our community.
Thank you, Councilor.
Thank you, Councilor. Next, we have Chrissy Hayes.
Good evening, guys. Good evening. I am a resident of Wayne Township. My name is Christy. It's spelled Christy, Hayes. I lived at 5228 Chelsea Road all my life for 46 years old. My brother's was a Wayne Township firefighter. I was a firefighter in 98 until I blew out my knee. I do not want the merger. I have witnesses here stating they don't want the merger. I had a firefighter and an EMS came to my house twice in the last 3 weeks for me and my mother. It took them 2 minutes from here to there. 2 minutes. I don't want it. If it's going to come down to downtown where EMS comes down to my mother who has cancer, heart problems, what else can we do to stop this merge? I mean, enough. What can we else do? Bring in money to this merge. Stop it. I mean, I have witnesses. I mean, I'm a resident. I mean, we need more time to discuss this because a lot of people don't know about it. Yeah, they have watched the news. I've been hearing about it in the neighborhood. They can't get out here. They can't say nothing. I'm their spokesperson. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Lisa. I don't want to mess up her name.
That's okay.
Sorry.
You wouldn't be the first.
This side is Lisa.
My name is Lisa Zabst. I'm the president of Eagledale Neighborhood Association. I've known Jeb Barton for a long time, and I know he's intelligent and honest. And I know that before he ever said that a merger is the answer, he went over those books and over everything again and again. And I trust him, and I think I know him well enough to know that he wouldn't recommend this if it weren't the best option available. And Eagledale Neighborhood Association is behind him.
Thank you. Next, we have Chrissy Smith.
Good evening, board members. My name is Christina Smith. My partner and our 2 children are residents in District 5.
Tonight I'm here to show our support for the merger of EMS services. Until I read the articles and information on the merger, I wasn't aware that how quickly someone gets an ambulance in Wayne Township depends on some invisible line that most of us don't even know exists. This merger will decrease the amount that many pay for these vital services, since the IFD rate is 3 times less than Wayne Township. May not be a ton of money, but as a homeowner who's felt the pinch of higher property taxes through gentrification and inflation, I can tell you that any amount to lighten the load is much appreciated. As a resident of Wayne Township for the past 20 years and a social worker by trade, I've become deeply invested in the well-being of our community. I've seen firsthand the effects of poverty on our neighbors and want to ensure that as much cash and resources are available to help as possible. With the highest eviction rate in the city and 2 school districts that are 100% free and reduced lunch, us Westsiders need all the help we can get. This merger does just that by ensuring that money is getting directly to neighbors in need and not diverted to cover fire and EMS services. Wayne Township's growing, adding houses and new businesses. This growth may only exacerbate the issues of funding and increased tax burden. So doing this now rather than later when problems are bigger seems to be fiscally responsible. Thank you, Secretary McNeil, for posting the questions and answer on social media. It was extremely helpful. Once I saw that the union was supporting this merger and nearly everyone who commented also supported it, I decided to come down and speak. I want you all to know that the merger makes sense, and you're being supported by your neighbors in this as well. So I ask you to support these merger resolutions. Thank you.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Thank you. All right. Thank you all who have made comments tonight and at our last meeting. Thank you, Trustee Barton, Chief Reed, and everyone who shared information with us over the last several weeks. At this time, I'll call for a vote on the resolutions before us today. But before I do that, I want to take a moment to share my thoughts. As someone who is in my first term as an elected representative,
It's entirely up to the board as to what you do.
Oh, sure. I'll hold my statement until after if anyone else.
We have
Yeah.
a panel of experts who are available to answer any questions.
Yes. Do the board have any
Yeah,
questions?
I do have some
Sure.
questions. And I want to apologize, because my questions are kind of scattered because I had to rush in here. Thank you, Jed, and thank you, Sally, for assisting me with getting this together tonight. But I understand that this is a very sensitive area that we're dealing with tonight, and we want to try to do the best thing we possibly can. And as I said on last meeting, my best interest is the township as a whole. And we're going broke, and so we just have to deal with this situation. And another thing, I want to thank those of you who I said I am listening, and I heard you, and I posted your questions. Those were your questions. Those were not my questions. So I applaud the administrative staff and the trustee for making sure those questions were answered appropriately. And I've gotten nothing but positive responses back from those questions that were posted. We have situations to where there were myths out there, untruths out there, and that is why it was so very important for me to be transparent. That is important to me, and so that is why I wanted to be sure that you guys knew exactly what was going on, and that you felt like your questions were answered. Even though I don't live in Wayne Township Fire District, I am a representative of the township, and I'm IFD, but what affects you will also affect me. And so trust me, I'm going to look out for your best interest. And and again, it's all about what's best for the township. So I do have a couple questions for, this was a very important question to me for IFD. I need you to tell me about the Perry and Carrington merger. I understand that they allowed themselves to run completely out of funds before they decided to merge because they couldn't meet their costs. So how's that services for them, or how's that working out? I think that's important that we know what's going on with other fire department.
No, and the IFD merger won't be heard until next month.
Oh, okay, but still, okay, I just wanted to be sure because people were asking me about that. So I thought
Could
we
you
were going to have
repeat the
someone from
question?
IFD here.
No, we have IEMS. Could you repeat the question about, because I didn't follow.
For the period, I wanted to know the outcome
Okay.
of those two mergers that have already taken place.
Yeah.
Okay, then as it relates to the IMS, to the medics, ambulance services are very important. We need to be able to respond to our senior citizens and to our citizens as a whole. I understand that we have a community to where we have older senior citizens, and in order to have a great response time, it's necessary. But from what I understand, in merging with IFD, it's gonna be a better situation because we have more individuals that will be able to respond. So I want you guys to help me understand if that's correct.
I'd like to introduce Chief O'Donnell. He's the chief of IEMS, and he might be able to offer a little insight into that.
Okay.
Good evening, members of the board, members of the community. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to answer any and all questions that I can. Again, my name is Dr. Dan O'Donnell. I serve as the chief of Indianapolis EMS. I've served in that role since 2019. Prior to that, I was medical director for Indianapolis EMS, Indianapolis Fire, and actually for a brief time many years ago was medical director for Wayne Township Fire Department. Ms. Minton, to answer your question, again, I agree wholeheartedly with your opening statement in that as we look to a merger, we are looking how can we maintain and constantly always looking how can we improve our emergency responses to the citizens of Wayne Township. And again, as we look at our deployment model and what it is going to take to do that, we have a strong deployment model that I feel strongly will meet the needs of Wayne Township. And again, that goal is to bring over as many and all current Wayne Township paramedics and EMTs that are currently serving your community. We want to bring them all over, make this a welcome place for them to join our team because they know this community. They want to serve this community. They chose to serve this community. So we want to ensure that does continue and that we do continue to meet the response times that Wayne Township citizens have been accustomed to and rely on for their safety.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other?
I have a question.
May I add something to that?
Sure.
When I got here 18 months ago, one of my initial conversations was with Chief Stewart about the things that are missing from what we do currently. And by that I mean there are special needs in terms of ambulance service that we don't provide. We don't do outreach to our homeless population. We don't have a specialized mental health unit. We don't have specific training for severe needs like SWAT, police action in Wayne Township. Our current ambulance system isn't doing training with the IMPD. All of those things are already being done by IEMS. So when we talk about improving services, that's a big piece of the puzzle. We have folks who need extra care, and the connection between IEMS and Eskenazi through Health and Hospital Corporation is a huge asset. And as it stands right now, we don't have that. So that's another piece of the puzzle.
Okay, do we know if the IMS merged for Decatur and the other townships, did theirs merge as well with their fire?
So Decatur still has their own
Who is it? Is it
paramedic
Perry?
service.
Which two?
Perry, Franklin, Warren, Lawrence, Washington Township have all merged with IFD, and at different stages in terms of the agreement between IFD and IEMS. And actually, at one point in time, IEMS didn't exist as it is today. So different townships had different experiences, but in all of them, if they had a paramedic service, it was rolled into the county IEMS
Okay,
system.
and I think that's what my question was, is how is that working with their paramedics that have rolled into those townships that have currently merged?
It is working very well, and I may give a little more historical context, if I may, I know
Please
time
do.
is actually Indianapolis EMS was created after the initial IFD mergers. When IFD started merging with Center Township, Warren Township, and others, they did take on, at the time, their civilian EMS agencies. IEMS actually formerly, our roots were Wishart Ambulance Service, which I'm sure most everybody knows. We were actually the second oldest hospital-based ambulance service in the nation. When they created Indianapolis EMS in December of 2010, this was a merger with, at the time, IFD had a smaller civilian EMS department within their department that was providing services in those areas. And we created Indianapolis EMS, where we agreed with IFD through what's called the interlocal agreement to provide these services, to take over EMS. And it has gone well. Again, we're looking at our service area and our ability to respond in those areas, whether it's Perry, Warren Township, Center Township. And again, those responses have remained strong.
Okay, thank you, that's good to know.
I sent out numerous emails in all my groups asking for replies, yes or no, about the merger. I got more no's than anything. And so then I sent out the list of questions and answers, and I asked them to please read all of those. And some of them came back and changed their no to yes. This morning, I got 2 calls from people that just found out about the merger. They don't watch the news because it's disheartening, and they don't do social media. So I gave them the website to go on the internet and get the information on the question and answers. And one of them called back and said yes, they changed their vote from no to yes. The other one asked a very valid question that I feel. Since so many people has not known and they're just now getting the word out there, if we've got enough money to get through 24, why do we have to vote now? Why can't we push it back for a month or 2 to vote, to give more people the time to digest this and understand what's going on?
There are a couple of time issues there. One of them is financial, and that is that we are currently using overtime of firefighters to cover our employment shortfall with EMS. That's an expensive way to run a paramedic service. The other is that we have a contract that we extended through 24 that expired the end of 23, but we enacted what's called an evergreen clause. So it basically keeps that contract exactly as it ended 24. I'm sorry, exactly as it ended 23 on through 24. But we can't hold that contract beyond the end of this year, and by that I mean something has to give. Nobody got a raise. People got a seniority adjustment, which was built in, longevity, how long you lived, you worked in the fire department, but nobody got a cost of living adjustment. So in terms of negotiating that next contract or moving forward, it's not a wait till the end of 24. That's a decision it's here and now. And our cash flow situation in 25 is projected such that I don't want to be walking into 25 with a contract that's melted down on us.
Well, they didn't say wait till the end of 24. They just said, can we, another month or so.
Yeah, from an employment standpoint, I don't think, and by that I mean how we staff our EMS here in Wayne Township, I don't think that's an option. Chief Stewart could talk to that, but we've certainly seen a number of paramedics and EMTs who've already left because we have that 24-hour shift right now with our EMS. But moving to IEMS, they would be on a 12-hour shift, which we believe is the right thing. That's a best practice. But we have folks who are leaving because they don't want to lose their 24-hour shift, and they can go out to a rural fire department that still has 24-hour shifts. But I think Chief Stewart would be the best to address the staffing issue.
While Chief Stewart is coming, I have a question for IFD. How many medics are at IFD 30 and 1? Do they have medics there? And I want to come back to that question while you think, if you don't have it.
Yeah, so the way we currently staff those ambulances, let me speak to Medic 30. One's in a unique position, but Medic 30, in total, there are 4 shifts. So we have 4 paramedics and then 4 EMTs. We staff that Medic 30 truck is ALS, Advanced Life Support, meaning it has both a paramedic and an EMT. How that case is treated depends on the severity of the patient, and it matches that. Medic 1 is unique. It is in a unique pocket. While based actually out of Eskenazi Hospital, it is currently a BLS ambulance. It's staffed by EMTs, but it's part of a a district medic program that's more in the central area in the downtown district. Due to the high volume, when we look at our data, our high volume of BLS calls, we feel that is better served with, we have a handful of BLS ambulances with what's called a district medic in that district. So they actually will respond when an ALS call comes out, when a higher level call is dispatched. The EMT, the BLS ambulance will go with the district medic together. Again, we'll make that decision whether or not how it needs to be transported. If it's a BLS, ends up being a BLS call, that district medic is right available to take that next call. So again,
Okay. Well, by merging, will that affect the staff at 30 and 1?
it would not, and thank you very much for asking that question, because again, I wanted to be clear on how our goal for Wayne Township. Anybody who currently wants to stay in Wayne Township will be, as I said, will stay in Wayne Township. We do feel that Wayne Township, in looking at their data and the data that Chief Stewart, Chief Reed has shown me, again, we need continued strong ALS response within Wayne Township Fire District. So again, our intent is to continue that.
Okay, thank you.
18 and 89.
And to your point, additional IEMS apparatuses are actually within the Wayne Township area. Our Medic 18 and our Medic 89 are actually where they are stationed, actually do respond and would go into that area and are in Wayne Township as well.
Okay.
And obviously that would not change with this at all.
Thank you.
Now, what about the ones that go from Wayne to IEMS? Now, who will be their overseer? Who will be their supervisor? Will it be somebody from Wayne, or will it be somebody already staffed with IEMS?
Right now, our plan is they would be supervised by someone at IEMS, one of our district lieutenant, and then our operations commander who oversee the shift for the day. As those opportunities come up, and they do, we would welcome that application of any individual, whether they started at Wayne, whether they've been with IEMS. Again, we will bring them over at their level of seniority, and that, as in our promotion process, certainly means a lot.
Thank you.
Okay, so to the question of, I guess, what's the hurry is kind of basically the question there. So I would say just us being able to maintain the Wayne Township current ambulance service is the hurry. We have about 18 people that we currently have that are staffing our trucks, down from 33. We have 5 resignations that are pending in a couple weeks up to mid-March, so we know that's going to take us down to the 13, 15 as time goes on. So I think, as the trustee alluded to, is we're staffing with our part-time staff for EMS, which has been really helping us out, and firefighter overtime, which is going to just continue to negatively impact our budget. And that's not a sustainable plan. So what waiting is going to do to us is just to allow more of our employees to leave. And if, we're happy for them if they're going somewhere that they're happy, and that's what we want for them. But that isn't we're going to hit a point where we break over, where part-time and firefighter overtime is not going to do it. And Wayne Township is going to start not being able to maintain 4 ambulances, 3 ambulances like we do. And without you guys voting to give us the ability to start working with IEMS to rebuild the system, we're going to hit a critical point probably in March to mid-March to where we're not going to be able to staff 4 trucks and maybe even 3 trucks because people are leaving. So if we wait a month, that just pushes us more toward that breaking point, in my opinion. So some of the board members that we had met with, we provided you a list of names of who we had and people that were leaving and things like that, and we think that gets critical for us in March. So it's going to take, I think, IEMS, I won't speak for Dr. O'Donnell, but I think we're at about 3 weeks to a month to kind of onboard everybody. So if we started today, it'd be the end of February or March by the time they're able to come out here. If we wait another month, we're into April and we're past that critical point to where we feel we can effectively staff. So, in my view, we will have a Wayne Township ambulance service that we will be staffing with part-time people and firefighters, and that's just not as reliable as having full-time staff. So, my job here is operations and looking at what keeps kind of the fleet and what the best coverage for our service is, and getting much below where we're at with full-time employees is not it. So we really would like to see you guys allow us to start this process with them sooner than later.
Okay, if we vote, which unanimously tonight, to merge the EMS with IEMS, and then in February, we vote against merging the fire department, then what happens to it? Since the EMS is under the fire department.
So if you vote to merge, I guess maybe, probably should have let an attorney answer that.
Do you-
Yeah, you go for it. I think
Or
you
a
have the same
doctor.
answer.
Well, yeah, that's probably the worst person. Sorry. So I understand your question. So if you were to vote and we approve Indianapolis EMS's merger, but later the merger with the Indianapolis Fire Department was no, what would happen? Am I clear on your question there? We would continue. So we actually, Indianapolis EMS operates independently of the Indianapolis Fire Department. We actually are our own entity ultimately under the Health and Hospital Corporation of Marion County. So again, it would not affect our operations one bit.
Any other questions or concerns from the board? Again, thank you all for providing all this detailed information for our board as well as the public. We will take a vote on it today. I did want to share my thoughts. As someone who is in my first term as an elected representative of this community, I take my service on this board very seriously. I love the West Side. It's my home. I'm raising my family, my daughter, as well as caregiver of my mother-in-law. And I take my that very seriously and this issue very seriously. And as I do this job and I try to do it well, I try to listen more than I talk. I've asked a lot of questions over this whole time period since I've taken office. Have been very concerned about the financial outlook. And as we look at the merger of EMS divisions, I have done that. And after everything I've heard, everything I've read, for me, this decision comes down to a basic financial math problem, as we all would look in our own households. Because of this choices made possibly by previous leadership in Wayne Township, looks like we simply can't afford to maintain ambulance service at the level any of us come to expect at a safety level. Our leadership in Wayne Township and the fire department have gone through dozens of different scenarios to try to make maintaining this division and the fire department work, and nothing adds up. And I've been a part of those conversations and was really looking forward to seeing solutions that we can avoid this. I think this proposal to merge makes the most sense, not only for the township's future finances, but as well for our taxpayers who live here, and for our EMS staff. These resolutions would give authority to the township trustee to negotiate with IEMS to ensure any current Wayne Township EMS staff who want to can transfer over to IEMS with their seniority intact and with comparable pay and benefits. He can also negotiate IEMS to ensure our ambulances and equipment stays here, so that Wayne Township residents can continue to count on quick and reliable ambulance service. I realize that for many people, this is an emotional day, and it is for me as well. The Wayne Township Fire Department and EMS Division have played an important role in our community's identity for decades, and we can't ever lose that history. However, as elected officials who are charged with caring for the future of this community, we must move forward. These decisions do not come easy, and they do not are not ones that anyone would want to make if a different option was available. But we have to be good stewards of taxpayers' finances. And despite what others may say, we have gone through, we've gone through different scenarios, and merger now is the best one. I will be supporting this merger and urge my fellow board members to do the same. I will now entertain a motion to consider Resolution 2024-1, 2024-2, and 2024-4. So do I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I make a motion that we approve Resolution 2024-4, 2024-1, Chart 2024-2.
Sorry, I'm just throwing a rock at you. I think we need a motion to combine the vote on that. Oh, you did that first?
Yes.
I knew you combined them for discussion. I wasn't sure that was for vote, but if that was for vote,
Make the
then
motion
you're
to
good.
combine it for a vote.
Let's do that. Let's, can we, do I have a motion to combine all three resolutions for a vote?
Second.
It's been moved and second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Now I'd like to entertain a motion to pass Resolution 2024-1, 2024-2, and 2024-4.
So moved.
It's been moved, and do I have a second?
I second.
I can't.
It's been properly moved and second. I'd like to take a vote by roll call. Ms. Charlotte, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Nay,
Aye.
and may I say that I'm doing this.
What do you do?
So, looks like it has been passed 4-1. Oh, I vote yay. Sorry, I thought that was clear. So yes, it's been properly moved and seconded. All votes have been taken and the resolution passed.
Mr. President, I would like to explain my vote, and especially to my constituents. And again, as I said, even though that I am not under Wayne Township Fire Department, I am under IFD, but my heart and soul is in Wayne Township, and I want to do what's the best interest of our township. Financially, the numbers say this is something that we can't get around. It's something that we have to do. I understand that it's a tough decision that we have to make, and some of you, it's not a popular decision, but it's a decision that has to be made for the township. And so that is why I opted to vote for the merger tonight.
Thank you. Would you like to
Yes,
take
I
a
would.
time?
Just like Chief Stewart said, we've already got 5 more resignations, which means that if something isn't done, that's going to make IEMS even more short-staffed out here. But I am not voting for myself. I am voting for the people who contacted me, and my no's outweigh my yeses, so I have to go with the people with what they wished.
Understood. Thank you all. Next, I invite Trustee Barton to present Resolution 2024-5, which pertains to the town of Claremont.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Our friend Bob Lutz was here at our last meeting to talk about the Claremont contract. I believe he's currently floating in the ocean somewhere, so he couldn't be here this evening. But he and Mr. Clater worked through that contract language, and I'd like to go ahead and turn it over to Mr. Clater so he can explain things.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. As Jeff said, for years and years, Wayne Township has provided the fire service to the town of Claremont. Town of Claremont is both in Wayne and Pike Townships, but because a town has the responsibility for fire protection, they contract for both parts of their town to be provided by Wayne Township, and Wayne Township has provided that service. The way the service has been provided is a calculation taking the town of Claremont's assessed value and multiplying by that, or multiplying that by the Wayne Township fire rate. So both the fire rate and the cum fund rate. And then that calculation is what Claremont pays. We were a little behind getting the contract adopted, which normally would have been earlier, but the 23 contract was extended by the town and by the trustee so that there would be fire protection under contract in that area. Basically, the reason that it was held up a little bit is because of the discussions of potential fire merger. So what the contract calls for this year is the same formula it's always been, that they would pay the Wayne Township rate, and then if there is a fire merger and it occurs during 2024, for the months that that merger would be effective, the contract would drop to the IFD rate, so that they would not be paying the Wayne rate if they were receiving IFD service, if that makes any sense. So if it's effective January of 25, then this contract would just be the way it's always been. If it is never effective, the contract would be the way it's always been. If it would be effective in November or something, then for November and December, they would drop to the IFD rate instead of paying the Wayne rate. Hopefully that all makes sense, but since they do pay the Wayne rate to Wayne, they wanted to drop that if in fact there is a merger. So again, there may or may not be a merger, it may or may not happen during 24, but there are contingencies in the contract to cover that. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Any questions from the board? There's no questions. I'd like to entertain a motion to accept pass resolution 2025-5 as relates to Claremont fire contract.
I make a motion to accept it.
Do I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved in second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. Our next meeting will be February 22nd. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second.
It's been properly moved in second. February 22nd. Oh, that's the meeting in regards to
Okay.
fire consolidation.
Okay.
We also have public comment
All right, okay.
at that time. It's been properly, did we say it's the motion to adjourn?
Yes.
Yep. All right.
Mhm.
Thank you.